Hello there, and welcome back to another video, Twilight Wars browser app series. In today's video, we'll be going over what's new with update 1.44. So this update features some new quality of life changes, as well as a few bug fixes. But I'm actually going to start with a change that has been made to the player profiles. So to go to your player profile, you just top right of your screen, click there, and what you'll notice is if you look at these pieces of information, you'll now notice that there's a time zone. The way you can choose your time zone is by going to edit profile, and you have a drop down here of different time zones in UTC that you can select from. So we've chosen UTC -5. So this will allow you to view other people's time zones in their profile. So for example, in our friends list, if we click Bob, we could see he's also UTC -5. Now where this really comes in handy is when you're setting up a new game and you go through the selections. Now what you'll notice is when you click on your invites, anyone with a time zone on their profile will also be shown on the invites list, which will be really handy for setting up games and coordinating in an efficient way for asynchronous play. Time zone isn't required, so it's possible people don't list their time zones, but I strongly recommend you do. So that's what's new with our player profiles. The other thing is, I guess it's kind of hard to tell when if I'm doing this on an account that only has 2 friends, but the drop-down list for game invites is now sorted alphabetically. So that'll make it easy for you to look up who you want to be inviting to your games. So that's what's new with our player profiles. Now, into more game-specific features, random draft mode is now going to always use a pool of 10 factions, regardless of the number of players in the game. So before, it was dependent on, if there was 3, 4, 5, or 6 players. But now, there'll always be a random selection of 10 factions for the players to choose from. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into a game to show the change to the diplomacy primary ability. So diplomacy primary, over time, there has been a few reports of people who have accidentally basically didn't ready any planets when they had planets to ready. And I mean, when you think about it, if you do have planets available to be readied, then it should almost be like mandatory for you to have to do at least one of the planets during diplomacy. So I'll activate diplomacy and I'll double click a system here to select. Now, if I don't choose any planets, in the past you could click resolve strategy and click OK and not ready any planets, but now the game will tell you that no planet cards have been selected for ready. And so we'll avoid that situation entirely now when using the diplomacy primary card. So we'll select these 2 planets to ready, and it will confirm. And so there we go. So that's one of the new features of this update. Another good feature here is the improved game logging. And you'll probably notice here as I go through the game logs, what's sticking out as different is that each name in the game log now has their associated player color as well as the faction icon next to them. So that way you don't have to go back and forth between the game log and say the player info tab if you're not sure who's who, right? So that's what that will do for you. I think it's a pretty nifty change. It's nice, and it just looks better as well aesthetically. So that's good. So that's what's new in the game logs. So those are all the new features. A couple of bug fixes. There was a bug where you couldn't view a game if a player in that game had deleted their account. Now, obviously, you won't really be able to progress in that game unless that player is eliminated, I suppose. But at least you can view the game state now. In that case, we've gotten a few reports of that recently, so just a small cleanup there. And a couple of other bug fixes. One that deals with fighters not being properly accounted for capacity warnings. Another one that deals again with eliminated players and with tokens being placed by them, which should be impossible. Yeah, that's the full scope of update 1.44. Hope you enjoy it, and we're looking forward to some videos in the future that might have to do with the completion of the Twilight Wars tournament, as well as we got another tournament or league about to begin. So lots of things going on in the app right now, and maybe more to come. But that's going to do it for this update video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.